Welcome back, Raw Reality Mindset. It's your boy, Juan Ramon, and we back with another reaction. Today, we got a brother from, I think he's like a therapist. I don't know if he's a relationship therapist or men's mental health advocate, but the brother is cooking. I don't even have to really say too much because he covered all the points that I would make. I'm still give my 2 cents, but overall, it ain't nothing really I had to do. The man covered every single aspect, every level of every conversation and every moment. The boy's good. So let's get into it without further ado. Juan Ramon, y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let's get straight to it.
The 18-year-old man effectively has very little to offer most single women. So he has to learn what women want and obtain it and become it. By default, a woman who's getting the attention up front, because her value is up front, if you are a poor mate selector, by the time you've gotten to 30, 32, 35, 40 plus, a woman that refuses to adjust to the type of man that she wants is effectively the equivalent of a male incel, involuntary celibate.
I was about to say that a large group of them women believe that they're the prize, so they don't even know anything about going to go gain access to a particular plethora of man or a class of man. If they're already predisposed to think that they're the prize.
If they're in an echo chamber all day hearing that they're tens and, you don't have to adapt for a man, you let them come after you, then yeah, of course you're going to yield those results every time. And I think that's the main issue.
Yeah, that is the main issue. When you got people that's always telling you, nothing you do is wrong, everything you do is perfect, you shit gold, it tends to make people shitty people. You know what I'm saying? And usually women are affected by that more than anything because from birth, they're told they're princesses, they're queens, you know what I'm saying? They're coddled. So a lot of times if they're doing wrong or they're doing fucked up in life, a lot of people won't call them out for it. So they walk around like they shit don't stink, and that don't translate to the real world. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of them, they just grow up like that because it's given to them from birth. And then when you turn 18 as a woman, you got all these different people that's just on you, especially if you look good. So it's hard for people to have I'm not going to say it's hard, but for some women, it's just like they feel like that's their reality because shit's been handed to them.
Is that, we talked about the communications, and women don't really care to listen to men. They don't want to believe what it is that men are telling them. And they're constantly reinforced that they are doing the right thing and the men are doing the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. But we've told these women on the panel, not just in particular this show, but different panelists that have came on over and over and over again, that you're going to have to make some adjustments. And it does take humility, like you said, but most people aren't willing to because they feel like they're doing the right thing. They're not really trying to hear women are saying it. And I've mentioned the word competitive, and people will get extremely angry because I said the dating market is competitive. But women don't feel the need or have the humility to compete for men in a competitive market. If you won't compete in a field that's competitive, what result can you possibly get?
Well, if when you turn 18, you had access to men that was your age, in their 20s, in their 30s, and in their 40s, and that primarily was offered to you specifically because of your biology and not something you had to earn. You've now had 12-year run of not having to work for attention that's naturally going to be granted to you.
And you got to think about what that does to a person's psyche. Like he said, that's something that's just, you know what I'm saying, just pushed to women, especially if they look good, but even the women that don't look good get a shit ton of attention, especially from when they, not even just 18, when they hit middle school, when they hit high school, all the little boys at school, all the little boys at high school, you know what I'm saying, the college boys. So they get that attention. So you got to think about how that affects the psyche of a young female, and her thinking she's the shit and she can do no wrong. It's a confused mindset, but that's how they think.
Anybody, if I was a woman, I'm sure my mindset would have been like a very different than what it is as a man.
Wait. Hold on.
I get and understand. I get and understand that.
I got to expose you to something before you go there on the youth.
Okay.
We done did it many times, but I'm gonna let the women question you on this.
Okay.
Because when you talk about a woman becoming 18 and having access to different brackets, age groups of men because of her biological position, her youth, and all these other stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can debunk it or you're gonna actually substantiate it, maybe. But there's this frontal lobe argument.
Mm-hmm.
You heard of it? I don't need to say nothing more, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, this, regardless of the development of the frontal lobe and who's develops faster and all this other stuff, I guess the main point I was trying to bring up is you typically had a run that your 18-year-old male counterpart didn't.
And before he get into that spiel, you know how women used to always say, "Oh yeah, women develop faster than men. Oh, women's intuition." And we always say, okay, cool, bet. If that's the case, then why so many of the grown ass women, including the young women, hella fucking immature, can't have an adult conversation without getting irate and mad or super angry, not being able to have a peaceful back and forth discussion. It's just so many things that when you look at reality, it's like, you say that, but it kind of shows otherwise when we look around at the world and how women act. Even though they say they're supposed to mature quicker, I don't know if that's necessarily ever been true.
He has to build up his value. So if the 18-year-old man effectively has very little to offer most single women. So he has to learn what women want and obtain it and become it. By default, a woman who's getting the attention up front because her value is up front. If you are a poor mate selector, by the time you've gotten to 30, 32, 35, 40 plus, a woman that refuses to adjust to the type of man that she wants is effectively the equivalent of a male incel, involuntary celibate.
God, that boy good. That boy spitting right there.
Involuntary celibate is a male that can't get access to women and he refuses to do something about it.
Damn.
So that loser over there to the left, that guy that's not, that no woman's checking for, and he's refusing to put the work in to adjust to the market of what women's expectations are so that he can get not only the caliber of woman that he wants, but access to women, period. Because you're a woman by default, you're going to get attention from the 400-pound life, when you 400, 500-pound life, where them people be on the show and they got to tear down the door to carry them out. All them big women was never single. There was still a man.
He ain't never lied. When they might have been big, they might have been physically challenged. But one thing about it, they ain't never not have a motherfucking man right by their side on them damn shows. That boy ain't never lied. So even as a 400, 500-pound woman, you still get more attention than the normal male experience. Think about that. That's crazy.
So you getting access to a man is not a flex. You getting access to the man that you want is the challenge. So if you can't do that as a woman that's been getting access to men since 18, you are the equivalent to that.
Damn.
So
that's the perfect fucking analogy. Like, damn, man, I told you the boy is good. I told you, I ain't got to say much. I'm just let him cook. Ain't nothing I got to say.
You're willing to make that adjustment. That's why your outcome is what it is. I'll never have men or women come into my office and they walk out thinking society and the world has to change so that I can live life. You have to point the greatest success you can make is to make it your responsibility, even if it's not. If it went wrong, there's something I have to do different. In my marriage, in my kids, in my friendships, in my relationship, the onus is on me.
So let me
go ahead.
Let me test your logic real quick on that. It's going to be really quick. Are you saying that if a woman desires a man that prefers or require a woman to be 140 pounds, but she's 200? Are you saying on the record that she need to go lose weight?
Yes.
Yeah. Either that or just find somebody who has different weight standards. One or the other. But either way it go, if she wants that man, she has to take the responsibility to do what's needed and what's required from that man to get that man. And if not, she don't want to do that, she can move on to the next potential person that has different standards.
Thank you.
Hold on. If this is the man she wants,
I know. I agree with you. I just wanted to go on the record.
Yeah, because only in America can we say only America can we say the type of job and salary that we want, but we don't want to have to show up for the interview and want to show up late and make our own rules. Everywhere else in your life, if you wanted a degree, how many credits did you have to take? How many classes did you have to do? You wanted that job? How many interviews did you have to go through?
Exactly. You had to earn it. So it's crazy because it's like, as men, we like, well, damn, we know we have to earn it. We know we got to go out there and work hard. Like he said, that's no different than the incel that feels like he deserves a woman, but he won't put in the work. Men, we know that. So for y'all, it's like, for everything else in life, you had to prove that you deserved that spot. Why do you think one of the biggest, if not the biggest things you could do on earth is finding a partner, a mate? You're selecting a mate to supposedly grow old with for the rest of your life and reproduce. That's, to me, the biggest decision you can make. And you feel like you don't have to work for that too and earn that, especially when you're going for a mate that you feel like is worthy of your time, that you would even want to pursue them. That's crazy. Everything else in life you put in work for. It's no different over here when it comes to. We know this. Y'all need to get with the fucking program.
Uniform. How many times do you have to be in the office? Everywhere else in your life, there are steps and protocols and things that will lead you to the outcome you want. But then when it comes to the man that you want there to be no rules. Take me as I am. The take me as I am men are the men that nobody else wants.
Mayor J. Block. So I know this might be a little bit off the direction that you're going.
Yeah.
But what is your thoughts on the panderer phenomenon? And I've been trying to study it right now. But in terms of
before he get into his thoughts, I think it's just a hustle. The panderer phenomenon of the male content creators that's clearly kissing ass to women, even when they know they dead ass wrong. I think it's a disrespectful thing and a slap in the face to y'all as women, because a lot of the times I would say the mass majority of them as men, we know they just hustling y'all. They playing on y'all emotions for $1. Because they do make a shit ton of money. They do seminars, sell books, sell out shows. Just y'all viewing their YouTubes in general make them hella money. You know what I'm saying? So I think the panderer epidemic of men and social media influencers is strictly for financial gain, or it's for the gain of women and getting pussy, or both. I mean, look at Derrick Jackson. We told y'all he was full of shit. And, you know, we weren't surprised at all. I know the women was, oh my gosh. We weren't surprised at all. We already know. We know the game when we see it.
How are these people that get behind the microphone and pander able to captivate such a large audience so consistent whenever that large?
Well, when you tell women what they want to hear, you can gain a fan base quick, real fast, and real easy. And a lot of men understood that. They seen the handbook and they played their motherfucking cards. That's all it was.
Can go and look at the facts and see that this guy is playing on your feelings and still turn you into a paying client.
Bingo.
Because advertisers know that it's easier to sell to women and children. So if advertisers know that, people that want to get on these platforms know that as well. So if you know that I think it's like 80% of the consumer debt is women. They know they'll spend the money. They know that they'll be on social media. And they know they would love to jump into somebody telling them what they want to hear, even if it's not true.
Spot on. What I just say. Spot on.
My argument is to put women on game to what's going on. If everything that's coming out of a man's mouth makes you feel good, you should be running.
Exactly.
Unless you think you're perfect. Unless you think you're perfect and there's nothing to change. At some point, you should hear something that kind of pricks you. Like, oh, I need to tighten up. I need to change that about myself. That's an area I need to grow in. If the guy or the man or woman with the microphone is always saying the blame is the other party, the blame is the men, it ain't you.
And even me, the content I make, I'm mostly reacting to, ignorant shit that's dealing with women and men. But I hold a man accountable too. So if a man on some bullshit, I'll call it out the same way I'll call with a woman. Now, I don't really watch women's content on men that much, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's a panel like this and I hear them go back and forth and disagree or agree on certain topics. But, either way it go, in my real life and on this internet, I hold everybody accountable. It's equal opportunity accountability over this motherfucker.
You're never going to get that. Like, as a therapist, if you came in for 6 months and I agreed with you, all your problems is everybody else but you, what do you have to change?
Well, let's take your morals off the table.
Sure.
If you were making a critical decision to come into as a podcaster and your sole focus and your only priority and importance was to make as much money as you can, would you come in the field that you're in or as a panderer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could get 1 million subscribers within a year if I got on this YouTube and this internet and just told women what they wanted to hear. It's the easiest hustle in the book. You ain't even got to be good at it, man. Honestly, you don't. You just, like I say, tell them what they want to hear. Skyrocket. Money, subscribers, shows, everything you need, they're going to support it. They're going to spend that money because they are very emotional creatures. Very emotional. A lot of estrogen in them build up, and that's naturally. So if the quickest thing I wanted to do was just shoot up and make money, yeah, I would definitely get on this motherfucker and start pandering, but that ain't in me. You know what I'm saying? I got integrity. I got morals, so I never move like that. And I'm all for telling a motherfucker what it really is and not what they want to hear.
Take your morals off the table. A panderer, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. That confirms
it. And I know with one, and they actually do it now with men and women. With now they're telling men and women what each side wants to hear, which is what's driving the gender war thing even worse. So now you have this whole market of podcasters, red pill space, black pill space, where it's everything that's wrong in society is because of women. That's how they're marketing it.
Like I said, I'm neutral. It ain't all because of women. It ain't all because of men. Now, do I believe it's mainly women? Yeah, absolutely. Now, and if I was to have a debate with somebody or sit down and talk about it, I would actually lay out the facts of why I believe that. But it ain't just one side or the other. It's both problems on both sides. I'm saying equal opportunities.
And now the guys who's not getting the success that they want in the dating market, the issue is the women. So that's the reason for why I can't get the type of woman I want. It's because of the women. If the women was better, then everything will be fine. And then on the other side, all the issues are men. Men ain't men no more. The reality is, we all got work to do. But to me, if you become more aware of the propaganda and indoctrination and the attempts to pander to you,
exactly,
you'll actually know when politicians are lying to you, when life coaches are lying to you, when podcasters are lying to you. Now you see through it, and you'll know it because if you watch enough of their material, they will never speak on certain issues or issues pertaining to certain sexes. It'll be obvious. So the guys that's going on tour and they sound like they a poet and they say this stuff on stage, but not one time has he ever said something about what a woman needs to change. He's telling her it sounds good. Women fall in love with what they hear. Men fall in love with what they
see.
So this is why when they want to market to men, OnlyFans, sex sells. They know how to market to us. How do they market to y'all? Tell y'all what y'all want to hear. If you start to learn this and start from an intellectual.
And that's real. Like I said, that man spitting. I got this from the Lapeef Network. I'll put the link in the description below. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Was the black therapist spitting? I think he hit all points. That man, every time so far, I'm just not getting introduced to him, but every time I see him, man, that man telling the truth and nothing but the truth. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Raw Reality Mindset, Juan Ramon. Gang!
Gave you the real, but it's like you can't take the real of me. Don't bring them bad vibes, don't need you killing my energy. Can't fuck with you if you a fuck nigga, ain't feeling me. She try to ride a nigga way till the feel agree. Can't trust her soul, no, I can't fuck with none of my enemies.